All right, so this week with Jenny, we are going to focus a lot on loose leash walking. Loose leash walking is something dogs do, something dogs don't do. So dogs pull on the leash a lot because they want to have access to things in their environment, like smells, go and meet people or other dogs, go chase a squirrel, etc. And we as humans don't seem to be as excited about those same things. So we don't move to those things as fast or with as much intensity as our dog might. So what happens is we get lots of leash pulling. So we want to keep in mind, though, that the whole reason why dogs go on walks is so that they can explore their environment and get exercise. So they can smell things, they can look at things, they can experience things that they aren't able to get in their backyard or inside of your house. So when we teach our dogs how to have better leash manners, it's important that you as the handler come from the point of understanding that the expectation of the dog should not be to never, ever, 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 ever go and smell things when they're on a walk. Instead, the expectation should be for our dog to want to smell things, but we just want to ask that our dog not pull our arm out of sockets or make our lower back hurt. We want to convince Jenny that she can have access to all those things that she wants to smell, but she's only going to be able to get to those things if she walks on the leash without lots of tension. Loose leash walking is different than heeling. Heeling is where a dog stays glued to one of your legs during the whole course of the walk. If that was the expectation of our dog to act that way, the dog would never be able to go and do the dog things on a walk, like smell things. So I am going to teach you two different things today. The first is going to be how to train for loose leash walking, which is what you're going to be doing 95% of the time. The other is going to be how to train the traditional heel work behavior. Loose leash walking is all about training the dog that a tight leash that the dog generates, so the tightness on the lead that the dog generates when they pull, does not get you what you want faster. Instead, it makes you get to what you want slower or not at all. There are no magical collars, harnesses, leashes that you can buy to make loose leash walking happen faster or easier. There are things that you can buy to make the walk more comfortable for the dog, and that kind of gear are harnesses. So harnesses don't apply pressure on the neck, so when the dog pulls on the leash, they don't choke themselves. Instead, they just feel that harness tighten. And then there's things that you shouldn't get for loose leash walking. Prong collars or choke chains, any kind of collar that provides any kind of discomfort or pain to the dog when they're pulling at something is going to create a dog that is scared and more stressed. A lot of the times people that use these painful collars, they create dogs that become reactive, meaning that they overreact to seeing the things that they were pulling out in the first place, and you get a dog that can become really aggressive because of the added stress at seeing the thing. You should also never apply any kind of leash correction. So you're not going to see me yank up at the lead when Jenny starts pulling on the leash. That would also be causing pain and fear and stress to her. She's already stressed out because she can't have access to what it is she wants in the environment. So if I am the one that creates more stress or fear or pain, I'm going to make her even more stressed out, which is likely going to cause either more frantic pulling or it's going to make her afraid to walk with me. The bond that you have with your dog is everything. That bond is there because of trust. Trust is something that is easily lost and harder to gain. So anything that you do to damage that trust with her is something that's going to decrease your bond, and it's something that's really hard to get back. All right, so let's get started. I am going to take Jenny's leash, and I am going to throw a treat out in front of her so she can't get it. This treat is meant to be something in the environment that she would pull to. So a smell, another dog, she wants to see a squirrel. So I'm going to throw this out of her reach. She's going to pull to get it. I'm not going to move. Yes. When she turns around to look at me, I'm going to say yes and give her a treat from my side. Have it be from your side. She's pulling again. Yes, and treat from your side. When she turns around to get that food reward, guess what? This leash is nice and loose. There's no more pressure. I'm going to reinforce her idea that the feeling of no pressure on the lead gets her to what she wants in the first place, which is that food on the ground. Again, I'm trying to tell Jenny that tension on the lead doesn't get you what you want. The lack of tension on the lead gets you what you want. Pulling, pulling, pulling. Yes, and treat for her turning around to look at me. And now that there's slack in the lead, she can get to what she wanted in the first place. Throw it out in front of you. Yes, look, she's already learned that pulling doesn't get her what she wants. It's right here. Mm-hmm. There you go. Good job. All right, so one more time. Ready? Yes, good girl. Let's go get it. Come on, go get it. Good. So you saw how quickly she understood the rules of that game. You're going to want to practice this inside of your house before you practice it outside. Outside is so full of distractions that it's hard to expect them to learn things really quickly. So you want to practice it inside first and then take it outside. When you take it outside, if you run into a situation where Jenny is pulling at the end of her lead for more than 5 to 10 seconds, so you stopped moving so that she's not being reinforced for pulling, but she keeps pulling, 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 pulling. Instead of having her persist in that more stressful environment, you want to do something to inspire her to turn away from that thing she's pulling at and come back to you. And when she does that, she creates slack in the lead. So there's two different things we can do for this. We can do a turn or a circle. So with the turn, if she's pulling at the end of that lead, you can say turn, 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 turn. Yes, and treat for that turn. And then we can go back to the thing she wanted to get to in the first place. The turn is really nice because the closer the dog is to the thing that they are trying to pull you towards, the harder it's going to be for them to break away from that. Again, the closer the thing is to the dog that they want to pull towards, the harder it is for them to come away from that. So when I cue this turn, 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 I am farther away from that treat that I threw on the ground now, so it's easier for her to pull away, to get away from that distraction, and that makes it easier for me to ask her to do different behaviors. So now that she's turned away, she's created that slack in the lead so we can go and get that food she wanted in the first place. All right. The other thing that we can do when she's pulling, 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 we've waited 5 seconds after we've stayed rooted in the ground, she hasn't turned around to look at us after 5 seconds. The other thing that we can do is make a circle. Come on, Jenny, let's go. We make a big circle so that right here, the leash is loose again, just because the nature of how the circle creates our movements. So she's pulling at the leash. We would say, come on, let's go, Jenny. Come on, let's go in a circle. Let's go, let's go, let's go. The leash is loose right here, so now she can go and get that thing. This is sometimes thought of like an offered leave it. Offered meaning she automatically does it. So she's automatically deciding to leave the thing alone that she's pulling me towards because she knows that if she does that, she'll get another reward for it. And if we practice this enough, yes, she's just going to start to be reinforced to just stick next to you the whole time you're walking. So where she's like, if there's any tension in the lead, it means I don't get to what I want faster. Slack in the lead gets me there. Because we still want to allow the dog to go and see the things he originally wanted to in the first place, we want to try and work that as a reward. So I'm going to go outside in a little bit to show you this. So when I go outside, there's probably, 7 different things that Jenny would be interested in doing. And so she's probably going to pull me in the direction of the thing that she really wants to get to. I need to make a mental note of that. So I need to open up that door and just stop in that doorway and wait to see what thing Jenny wants to focus on. Is it going to be the dogs and the fence to the right? Is it going to be the horses on the left? Is it going to be the sound of the cars moving? Is it going to be a bird? And once I've identified what it is Jenny is interested in pulling me towards, I'm going to work that in as a reward for her. And I'm going to gradually close the distance in between me and that thing. It sounds more complicated coming out of my mouth telling you than me actually showing you, so I'm just going to go outside and do it right now. Alright, so we're going to go outside. Everything else is going to stay the same. It's just I'm not going to have to drop a treat in front of her to artificially create something she wants to pull me towards. So right now she's pulling because she wants to go smell something on the bench. Because she's pulling, I'm not moving any more forward. Now she's heard a dog over there. So she's pulling. I'm not going to allow her to go any closer until she creates some slack in the lead. She's got 2 more seconds to turn around and look at me. She hasn't. So I'm going to say, turn, 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 turn. Yes, good girl. And at that point, she wasn't interested in the food that I had in my hand, so she didn't get the food reward. Now she's looking at cars. There's slack in the lead she made on her own. If she creates any kind of natural slack in the lead, you just go with it. Because again, anytime that there's slack in the lead and she's able to smell what it is she wanted to smell in the first place, we're reinforcing that feeling of slack in the lead getting you what you want. So now she's probably going to want to check out these bushes that have been peed on a number of times, I'm sure. Slack in the lead still, so I'm going to let her do it. Now, when you're on a walk, she's not going to be able to get to everything that she wants to smell. You're not going to be able to go off into neighbors' yards and let her smell their front door. So there's not everything out there that she's pulling you towards she can't always get to. You can't always work that in as a natural reward for her. But if you're in an open park, you can certainly deviate off of the paved path for her to kind of entertain a smell. And when I'm on a walk, I normally say to myself, oh, come here, Jenny, there's birds over here, so we're going to go this way. When I'm on a walk, I normally say to myself, I have half an hour to exercise my dogs. I rarely ever have an agenda for distance. So it's not like I'm going to say I want to go on a mile-long walk with my dogs. It's more I want to spend half an hour with my dogs to go out on a walk. So because I'm more of a time, yes, Jenny, good girl. Because I'm more of the time being the limiting variable and not the distance. If my dog wants to stop and smell a bush for 2 minutes, I'm going to let them do that. I don't always have an agenda with them, you know. If she wants to smell a bush for 2 minutes, that's okay. Tension on the lead, I stop. Yes, intrigue, good girl. All right, let's keep going. Come on, Jenny. You want to keep going? Come on, let's go. What'd you think? She's doing really well. Where you want to go? All the while they're slacking this lead. She's pulling now, so I'm going to stop. Count to 5. Yes, good job. She didn't do it. She started pulling again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn, 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 turn. Come on, Jenny, turn, 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 turn. Turn, 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 turn. Yes, good girl, Jenny. Good job. We got another dog out here. Yes, good girl, Jenny. Pulling me towards the dog. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, good decision, Jenny. So because she turned around and looked at me, I'm going to permit her to go and interact with the dog again should she want. As long as that leash is loose. It wasn't. It got tight again. Tight leash. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn, 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 turn. Yes, Jenny, good girl. You want to go smell where he peed? All the while that leash is loose. And this is good. She's getting to interact with the dog that she wanted to pull me towards in the first place. There's more reinforcers out there than just food. This dog looks like he's going to want to hump her. And pine straw like this and any kind of tall grass is something that dogs find really interesting. Pulling me towards the bush right there. 1. Yes, good girl, Jenny. Oh, she turned away from it. That's no big deal. Again, the biggest thing here is I don't want her to associate leash pulling with anything working. She got 2 more seconds. Yes, good girl, Jenny. She doesn't care about the food anymore because there's another dog. Where do you want to go now? Loose leash. Do not hump her. Hey, come on. Come on. Let's go. Come on, Jenny. It's okay. Come on. And we got to get out of here because there's Mr. Romeo over here. Come on, Jenny. Let's go. Good girl. All right, so those are some pretty big distractions for her out there. Yes, good job, Jenny. Sorry you got humped, Jenny. Okay, so we're going to move it back inside now, and we're going to work on some more traditional kind of heel work. And there's not going to be any dogs in here that hump you. Was that okay? Yeah? Good job. Here's some food. Okay, so now we're going to work on the traditional heel work stuff. And this is something that takes a lot of time to perfect. It's going to require us to do lots of watches with her. And it takes some coordination. You're really good at sitting. Okay, so you can pick what leg you want her to walk on and just let me know if it disagrees with my choice. Traditional heel work is down on the left leg, so I'm going to train her on the left leg. If you want to do it on the right leg, you would just swap everything. In terms of my hand organization. Alright, so she's out in front of me. I want her to be on my left side. So I'm going to hold the leash in my right hand and the treats in my left. And then I'm going to lower her back behind my left leg. Take a step back, turn her head in, and step forward. Yes, and treat. From here, I'm gonna start to cue lots of watches. I'm gonna say watch, yes, and treat for the watch. Watch, yes, and treat. Ready? She's out in front of me. I stop and lower her back behind my leg. Yes, and immediately start saying watch. Jenny, watch. Yes, good girl. Ready, watch. Jenny, watch. Yes. Good. Watch. Yes, good girl. All right, so she's out in front of you, so you would just lower her back into that correct position. You did it on your own there. Ready, Jenny? Yeah, good girl. Ready, watch. Jenny, watch. Watch. Yes. She's not really getting the watch when we're moving, so I'm going to just practice the watch from this position right here. She thinks she's supposed to sit. Watch. Yes. So I'm trying to communicate to her she's getting a reward not for sitting, but just for watching. And she's sitting on her own because she's really good at the sit, and she knows that that pays out normally. Ready, Jenny? Watch. Yes, good girl. Watch. Yes. Watch. Jenny. You getting tired? Jenny, watch. Yes, good girl. Jenny. Watch. Here. Jenny. Here. Right up close to me. Yes, good job. Oops. You ready? Watch. Yes. Okay. Watch. Yes. Watch. Watch. Yes, good girl. Yes, watch. Kind of like a dance that we're learning. Trying to teach her the steps that I want her to do. It's just a matter of lowering her into those steps, and when she gets them, paying her for it, so that we can start to communicate that that is what I want her to do. Yes, watch. Yes, yes, good girl. I like that one because she didn't sit for me there. I let her know that standing and watching is what I want, not so much sitting and watching. You ready? Come on. Yes. Yes. Watch. Yes, good girl. Watch. Yes, good girl. Watch. Yes, good girl. Much better. Watch. Jenny, watch. Yes, good girl. Watch. Watch. Good. Still a little choppy. Watch. Yes. Jenny. Do one more pass. Jenny. Watch. Watch. Yes. Watch. Jenny. Watch. Yes, good girl. That was nice. Good job. All done. Oh, I'm kind of busy. Whew. Okay. So that was a little bit of a struggle for her, a little bit choppy. Happy, the dog that she plays with all the time, kind of did a similar thing. So what we're gonna do with her is try and break this down even more and try and communicate to her what we want you to do is not just automatically sit whenever we stop. That's not what we're wanting. We are instead wanting you to move next to me. So this next exercise I'm going to do with her is called 2 steps and a treat. And this gets the dog into the habit of just being reinforced for just moving next to me more or less in a straight line. And it's really simple. So we have food and we just drop a little breadcrumb trail by us. by our left leg. We can still lure her back into that position, yes and treat, and then we're going to drop a piece of food on the ground. Drop another piece of food on the ground. Drop another piece of, oh, she didn't see it. I like to have them kind of look up in the sky to anticipate the next drop. So I like to hold the treat up and drop it. And that will help me later. That will help me later cue the watch, because the eye contact is really nice. That's what kind of glues us together with the heel position. Uh-oh, she got in front. More for back. Yes, good. I'm just gonna breadcrumb drop it, good. Another breadcrumb trail, right by your foot. It's okay, here. Good job. Getting her used to moving and grooving here. It's not a sit and then wait, it's a constant motion by my foot. Okay. Much less stopping from her. That's good. And she'll get into the habit of anticipating a food drop on the ground, so she'll keep her nose to the ground more, looking for that next treat. Yes. And what I want her to get into the habit of is looking up at me. Yes. For that next kind of food reward. Yeah. Because I want her to, yes! Eye contact is what I want. It's not necessarily the sitting that I want. Good. Nice job. It's like I'm dancing with her. Good job. Good. Sit. All right, let's see if she'll do the whole thing now. Ready? Back. Yes, good. Ready? Watch. Jane, watch. Oh, and she's still looking on the ground for that food. Yes, good girl. Watch. Yes, good girl. Watch. You got it. Yes, good job. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Come here. Here we go. Good girl. Watch. No, that's not what I want. Ready? Jenny, watch. Yes, good job. She's still looking for it on the ground. All right, we'll see how she does with that next week. I'm gonna give her a break because I'm getting really dizzy. All right, so we'll work on that more next week. Say bye.